Sushruta for NEET is now available on the Google Play Store. Try it out for free.
Hi, my dear students. Hearty welcome to JnanaMarga, your academy combined biology class. We are now continuing the study of the environmental issues. In this, we are taking up now what we have to do to deal with improper resource utilization and maintenance. We have that much sufficient resource, but these resources are not properly maintained. The degradation of the natural resources can occur not just by the action of pollutants, but also by improper resource utilization practices. Can you, sir? What do you mean by improper resource utilization? Improper resource utilization. I know many times Kanisa gets scolded by her mother for not switching off the light when she used to come out of the room. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
How I know?
Teripati.
This is also true with the Rafa. Am I right, Fatima? No?
Yes, sir.
Is it that many
Yes, sir.
times you also get scolded by your mother?
Yes, sir, I do.
Also true with regard to Navya. Am I right, Navya?
Yes, sir.
That means it is a universal problem. Why you do so like that, Rafa? Or if at all I ask another question, Namrata, how much water you use for bathing?
More than 20 liters, sir.
More than 20 liters. Is it not that it is you prepare water in through your electric gadget or through geyser, that is gas geyser, or you boil water by using this firewood? I don't think so. But more than 20 liters, I am sure many times we use water. That much of water is not required for bath. Am I right? Am I right, Vismita? Am I right, Tanusri? Jayasri? Many times we use that much of water. We need not. With half of that water, we could finish the bath. But because it is cold outside, because there is sufficient water, we go on pouring the water, start enjoying this bath. Am I right? Kavita, have you come? Kavita, I think she is enjoying Shivaratri. Oh, happy Shivaratri to you all. May God Shiva, Lord Shiva, bless you and see that all of you are what? Celebrating this Mahashivaratri next year by staying in your favorite medical colleges. I pray God, Siddesh, Harshvardhan, Prithvi, Lohit, shall we pray God that we shall all end up with our destination, whatever that we are looking for? May God bless you. May God bless you all, and may God give you the mindset to work hard, to study hard, and to take the examination seriously and perform well. So coming back here, this is what I'm telling. Improper resource utilization practice. This is one thing that you are doing. You are not bothered how much water you are wasting. You are not bothered how much electricity you are wasting. Many times the lights will be there, no one will be there. Fan will be on, no one will be there. Simply fan will be just rotating. First of all, we should minimize such a loss. Many times you might have seen on the roadside the tap, a public tap, just pouring out the water. And none of us we make it a point to go and stop it. This is the situation. Many times you may see in the early morning at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, street lamps still burning. Have you not seen it? Have you not seen it, any one of you? Even at the daytime, the street lights burning? What, yeah? Have you seen it or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is what is happening. Navi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
No. What we are now looking into is another type of improper resource utilization practice. Soil erosion and desertification. The development of the fertile topsoil takes centuries. Look here. Takes centuries. Always it is said, 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 cubic foot, 1 cube foot of soil formation takes approximately 1,000 years. One cube foot of soil formation. What soil formation? Fertile humus soil formation. Takes place nearly 1,000 years. But you know, how quickly we can get rid of that? Cut the trees in the forest. You see that the topsoil gets eroded very quickly. So, the development of the fertile topsoil needs centuries of time. But it can be removed very easily due to human activities. What human activities? Human activities like over-cultivation, unrestricted grazing, deforestation, and poor irrigation practices. All these results in the formation of arid patches or dry patches of land. Now just let us look into these details. The topsoil gets removed very easily. How? By over-cultivation. What do we want? We have sometimes, in the agriculture land, you tell me, in 1 year, how many different crops may be grown? Anyone has idea? How many different types of crops may be grown in one agriculture patch of land? Pardon? Hello? Anandi Tirtha. How many crops we grow in 1 year in our field? 2 to 3. Sometimes people make it a point to grow even 4 crops. I hope Charan will answer me. Do we follow any particular method of growing the crop? Do we follow any systematic way? Charan, can you tell me? Yes. Nale class gottide. Okay. Can you tell me any particular method? Hello? Hello? Charan? What are you doing there? Chinmay, while growing a crop, is it that we follow any particular procedure or method?
Whether
I am asking, is it that in one, let us say, do you have some agricultural land?
yes sir.
What do you grow there?
Adike sir.
What crop you grow there?
Adike sir.
Pardon? Arecanut?
Yes sir.
Are you growing any cereals? Rice, wheat, jowar, ragi?
Yes sir.
Are
Right.
you growing?
Right.
Huh? Is it that? Is it that throughout the year you grow rice only in all the 2 or 3 crops? Rice,
No
rice,
sir.
rice. Then you go for what is known as a alternation of crops. Am I right? If the rice is grown, what will be grown next time? Some pulses are grown. Am I right?
Yes sir.
There will be always alternation between monocot and dicot. This is generally the agriculturists do. But sometimes, if everything is favorable, if at all they have good irrigation ability, irrigation possibility, they may grow 2 or 3 or 4 crops in one particular year in a particular patch of land. This is what is called over cultivation. Continuously raising one or the other crop without giving much gap. Now if they get a rice also, we do get the rice of different varieties having a short span, lifespan, long lifespan like that. Then, apart from that, the another one is unrestricted grazing, allowing the cattle to graze continuously in the barren land, grassland. Unrestricted. Every time one or the other cattle, hundreds of cattle go there and keep on grazing. What happens? There is no scope for any grasses to grow up. The moment it rains, this particular soil gets eroded. Deforestation is another one where forest trees are cut. When the forest trees are there, suppose this forest canopy, tree canopy, when the rain falls, rainwater, straight away it will not fall on the ground. It will not fall on the ground. On the other hand, it falls on the tree canopy. From the tree canopy, it coolly drips down, drops down, drop by drop. It falls down. So whatever the vegetation is there, whatever the soil is there, it will not get eroded that much easily. The moment you cut the trees, if the trees are not there, straight away the rain falls on the ground, and this results in more and more soil erosion. So deforestation, cutting down of the trees, is another human activity responsible for the removal of the topsoil. And poor irrigation practices. Many people nowadays, what they do, in the villages and all, there is what is called a free electricity supply. Free electricity to the farmers. What happens with the free electricity? Free electricity, whenever this electricity is there, these farmers keep on their pump on. The water always starts, as long as current is there, the water always starts going out. Am I right? Harshavardhan, have you heard about this?
Yes, sir.
Siddesh? So they never
Yes, sir.
they never switch off the that power. The moment the power comes, the engine pumps water. When it stops, then the power goes up. And this makes a lot of water to flow in the field. It also, what is known as a poor irrigation practice. This all makes the fertile land as arid patches. When a large barren patches extend and meet over time, it results in desert. So, if I say, whatever the desert you see in India, What is the name of that desert?
Thar, sir.
Thar Desert. The Thar Desert, whatever you see today, it is said that once upon a time it was a forest land. Once upon a time it was a forest land. And this forest land got transformed into Thar Desert. And it is also observed that this Thar Desert is widening year after year. It is not shrinking, it is widening year after year, increasing in its diameter. So in this way, when a large barren patches, whatever that's formed now because of human activities, they get together, it results in the desert formation. Internationally, it has been recognized that desertification is a major problem. One thing that you should know, when I say that desertification, it is not that the forest land gets converted into open barren land. Even, you know, urbanization, increased urbanization is also another method of desertification. It is a thought, it is a sort of desertification. What do you mean by urbanization? Now, if you see most of the cities like Bangalore, Mysore, wherever it may be, Hubli, Davangere, whatever may be, what was the size of this Bangalore about 100 years back? What is the size of the Bangalore city now? And what will be the size of Bangalore city after another 100 years? You know, Bangalore city is growing. Bangalore city is becoming bigger and bigger. Just for your information, the place where I am sitting now, where I am giving you the lecture now, where my residence is here now, you know, this place is called Uttarahalli. What is it called? Uttarahalli. This Uttarahalli, if at all you come here, and if at all you ask me, sir, where is Halli here? I can't show you any Halli here. Uttarahalli has become Uttara Delhi. It has become such a big city. If you come to my place, if you just move about 1 kilometer radius, you will come across good number of apartments. The apartments here, the apartment in which I am staying here, this apartment has 18 stories. We are here in the ground floor. 18 stories are here. All together in this, in our apartment, we have all together 323 houses. It is as good as one Halli. Now you do not see any agriculture land here. Earlier, this Uttarahalli was a village with the fertile agriculture land. This Uttarahalli got transformed into a township now. And we have everything here. We have mall, we have every facility, buses coming, bus route, everything we have here. All facilities are here. Market is here. Every facility is here. Hospitals are there. Everything. This is also a sort of desertification. That is urbanization. What is urbanization? Transformation of the village into the township. This is also a sort of urbanization. Are you understanding my point? Desertification. Also a sort of desertification. Nadira? Nadira,
Yes, sir.
can you repeat what I said?
The transformation of villages to townships is called as urbanization.
Very good, Nadira. This much of concentration should be there. Very good. Up. Hats off to you. Okay. Now, let us take up water logging and soil salinity. Irrigation without proper drainage of water leads to water logging in the soil. What happens? Water stands there, water remains there. Now, you see that this is the land. Okay. Let us see that it's a fertile land. Okay. Heavy rainfall, if at all, heavy rainfall is there. Continuously for 1 week or 15 days, what has happened recently in Bangalore? There was a continuous rainfall. Where the water can go? You can't expect them to go very systematically through the drainage. No, all this got blocked because of this transformation of the land, agriculture land into township and all. No, You are making water to remain here. You know what has happened in the farm where we have farmhouse. You could see 2 to 3 feet of water for more than 15 days in the fertile agriculture land. 2 to 3 feet of water for 15 days. Imagine what will happen to the organisms there, what will happen to the fertility of the soil there. So, this irrigation without a proper drainage of water leads to water logging the soil. So, this affects the crop. Besides affecting the crop, water logging draws a salt to the surface of the soil. This is another problem. So whatever the salt is there down below, it gets into, because there will be now, you see that this water, it is hypotonic condition. Down below is the salt, hypotonic. So first water starts moving that side. So it becomes both hypertonic. So water logging draws a salt to the surface of the soil. The salt then is deposited as a thin crust on the land surface and starts collecting at the roots of the plants. So there will be change in that chemical content of the soil now. This increased salt content is inimical to the growth of crops. So damage happens, extreme damage occurs to the agriculture. So this is what is happening now. Too much of rain is also dangerous. Too less of rain is also dangerous. So whenever water gets logged for a very long time, the salinity of the soil gets changed, and this affects the growth of the crops. Water logging and soil salinity are some of the problems that have come in the wake of Green Revolution, even in the Green Revolution. What is that happening? You know, Green Revolution has resulted in extensive use of inorganic fertilizer. Where these fertilizers should go, whatever is required, that will be absorbed by the plants. If excess of the fertilizers are put where they should go, they will remain, and they change the soil salinity. Okay, now what is happening is, because of the extensive use of inorganic fertilizer, our soil is becoming either acidic or alkaline now and then. Both these are not good. Generally, the soil pH should be circumneutral. Around 6 to 7 in that particular pH should be there in the soil. So, soil salinity goes on changing. And this is the greatest problem that we face nowadays. As a result of which, your soil is not yielding anything. You can't expect any proper yield by such a soil. Look here, this is what is water logging. What you can grow here? If at all water gets logged like this for months together, what are you going to grow here? Can you grow anything? No. More than that, salinity, it is a saline with a high concentration of the salt. You can't grow anything here. So this is the problem. Now, deforestation. I hope you know what is deforestation. We human beings, we cut the trees without bothering the importance of them. Suppose you have a tree in front of your home. You see that this tree is spoiling the beauty of your look of the house. You want to cut it. And in the name of development, how many trees we are cutting? You might have seen widening of the road from Malpe to Someshwar, next to Shimoga. How many trees are fractured? How many trees are felled while widening the road? Throughout the country, this is happening. Deforestation is a conversion of forested area to the non-forested area. Why deforestation takes place? Can anyone tell me? Why the forested areas are converted to non-forested one? At the beginning, you know, people generally make it a point. Sir? Yeah. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. So, deforestation, right? Okay. Deforestation is a conversion of forested areas to non-forested ones. You know, when the population is going on increasingly days, generally what we do? We require some land to stay. We require some land to have our residential buildings. So, if you look into Western Ghat, right, people for the stay used to just occupy one or the other part of the forest now. And once they come here, at the beginning, I'm telling you about 100 years or 200 years back, people were dare enough. People who had a very good courage. They used to just go to the forested area. No one used to object to them. They used to just find some area. They used to cut the trees there and used to have small, small huts there. Of course, with all difficulties, they used to live there. And it was a time when the malaria was sporadic throughout the Malnad. People used to die of malaria because there was no medicine for that. There was no treatment for that. People used to die. And some people used to die, and some people, somehow they used to survive. They used to remain in these small, small huts. And after that, once they are accustomed to live there, so with all the small hut, they should to convert it into some the properly thatched buildings, right? Then they started at that time collecting or whatever that's available near the forest area and all. Then later, slowly they started converting whatever that's possible from their angle. They used to cut the trees and used to have small, smaller that paddy field just to grow paddy to eat. You know, when Britishers came here, they have taught us very good habit. Do you know what is that very good habit they taught us? Hello? Navya? They taught you very good habit that you still have that habit. You know what is that?
No, sir.
Anyone? Britishers taught us very good habit. Anyone can? This is not in the uh, true sense. Indirectly, I'm telling, it is not a good habit. It is a bad habit. Rafa, she will tell me. What is it, Rafa? What they have taught? Kanisa? Amrita? Huh? Ismita? You may be telling. What habit they taught us? They taught us the habit of going for coffee and tea. Both these coffee and tea, they are exotic. They are not our crops. Once you started drinking and relishing coffee and tea, they showed us. See, this coffee and tea you can grow in your place. What you have to do? Cut the trees, grow coffee. So when you cut the trees, you will get a lot of timber, and by growing the coffee, you will get a lot of money because coffee used to get cultivated here in India and used to get exported outside. Tea cultivated here, export outside. That is why today, if you go to some of these Western Ghat area, you will see several thousands of hectares with coffee plantation, tea plantation, etc. What they have done? These crooked people, British people, when they have taught us cutting the tree, systematically they have exported our valuable timber to London. Go there to London. See, each and every building is well protected with the wood lining on the inner side of each and every building. Most of the building in London, they have wood material imported from India because they have the problem to withstand extremes of temperature condition during the summer and during winter. So in this way, lot of trees used to get cut right from the time of the British people, and even now that is still continuing. Deforestation is a conversion of a forested area to non-forested one. Please remember, our people never used to drink tea or coffee. They used to go for what is called, Jirige kashaya, Kotambri kashaya, like that, some decoctions. And they used to be very good for the health. But now, by cultivating the habit of drinking tea, drinking coffee, we are getting our health spoiled every day by day. According to an estimate, almost 40% of forests have been lost in the tropics. 40% compared to only 1% in the temperate region. How much it is lost? Where British people live, only 1% of the forest is lost. Where we are living, 40% of the forest is lost. Understood? How much damage has taken place to our nature? Till now, we are not bothered. What is the need of the day? Need of the day is that this 40% forest which have been lost, it should have been recovered as early as possible. It should have been replaced as early as possible, but it's not happening. Yeah, the present scenario of deforestation is particularly grim in India. How much of deforestation takes place? Wherever you go, you see cutting of the trees, the establishment of the roads, raising of that flyovers, etc., etc. At the beginning of the 20th century, at the beginning of the 20th century, forests covered about 30% of the land of India. From 1901 to 2000. At the beginning of the 20th century, forests covered about 30% of the land of India. By the end of the 20th century, it shrunk to 19.4. 19.4. Where is the 30? Say about 20%. Whereas the National Forest Policy in 1988 of India has recommended 33% forest cover for the plain area like Bangalore, Mysore, etc. 67% of the 67% forest in a hilly area like your Sringeri, Chikmagalur, Koppa, Balanur, like that. So this much of forest we are expecting. In all big cities, whatever we have in our India, we are expected to have 33% forest cover. And in the forested area where we have the township like Chikmagalur or this Shivamogga, etc., we expect 67% forest to remain. But what we have? 19.4%. Imagine the scenario. What will happen? If at all we are suffering from one or the other unknown diseases today, unheard diseases today, unheard health complications today, this is one of the reasons. One of the reasons. Are we affordable to cut the trees like this? Now it is 19.4. When? At the end of 20th century, 2000. Now, you imagine how much it may come down in by 2099, say 3000. Oh, sorry, 2200, 2000, yeah, 999. 2299. 2299. You will lose another 10%. Imagine a scenario when your grandchildren has to live. Just imagine. Can they get sufficient food to eat? Can they get sufficient water to drink? Can they get sufficient air to breathe? Are you following me, Vismita?
Yes, sir.
Don't you think that the coming days are very, very dangerous? No?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, how does the deforestation occur? How the deforestation occur? How we are losing this forest? A number of human activities contribute to it. A number of activities of Aisha, Blessy, Kanisa, Rafa, Kavita. Kavita, are you there? Kavita.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you came. Okay, Shivaratri. Okay. Navya, all your activities are contributing to that. A number of human activities contribute to loss of forest. That means a number of activities of ours. One of the major reasons is the conversion of, one of the major reason is the conversion of forest. I shall call you later. Okay, I am in the classroom. One of the major reasons is the conversion of forest to agricultural land. This is one of the major reasons. Forest to agricultural land so as to feed the growing human population. This is the first reason. We used to convert forest land into agricultural land. But what we are doing? My dear students, I have seen with my own eyes. When I got my job, I became lecturer at the age of 22. Soon after my BSc, I got a job. Then I went for MSc. When I just took my lecturer post at Sringeri, people used to submit application to the Tahsildar with a request to convert forest to agricultural land to grow paddy, to grow rice mainly. Okay, that's the beginning. Within another 10 to 20 years, those people who have converted forest to agricultural land started converting a rice field into arecanut field, coffee garden, arecanut garden, cardamom garden. All these economically profitable crops were started replacing these food crops. Because they learned that if at all they harvest this arecanut, they could get very good profit. This made these people to run behind economical crops. And with the growing human population, this started accelerating more and more. Trees are axed for timber, firewood, cattle ranching, and for several other purposes. In 1976, when I just wanted to have one cot, I was bachelor, I wanted one cot at Jaipura. That particular carpenter asked me, "Sir, shall I have the cot of teak wood or rosewood?" Teak wood or rosewood, fully. Rosewood was very, very famous at that time. All people used to have the cot with the rosewood, highly valued wood. Now you will not get even a good piece of rosewood there. So, timbers were extensively cut. Trees were cut to make this timber for furniture purposes, cot purposes, household materials like whatever that you have, the doors, windows, etc., etc. For firewood, people used to cut the trees. Cattle ranching, just to make them, to have that grazing land for that, and for several other purposes. Okay, this is how the forest used to get cut. Slash and burn agriculture, another important cause of the deforestation. What is it? Slash and burn agriculture. Slash and burn agriculture, commonly called jum cultivation. Very, very important. Always ask a NEET exam. Jum cultivation in the northeastern states of India has also contributed to deforestation. What is this jum cultivation? What is this slash and burn agriculture? In a slash and burn agriculture, farmers used to cut down the trees of the forest and burn the plant remains. Cut the trees, take the trees away and use it for one or the other purpose. Whatever remaining there, they used to burn. After burning, this ash, whatever they used to get, it was used as a fertilizer, and the land was then used for farming or cattle grazing. Several thousands of hectares of forest used to get cut like this. What do you call it? Jum cultivation. Go to a place, cut the trees there, lift the trees and use it for one or the other purposes of construction of the houses or making furniture, etc., etc., wooden frame for the doors and windows, etc., etc. And after that, whatever that is remaining in the forest, to burn it, get the ash, and here and there make some of this farmland and use the fertilizer, use the ash as fertilizer. And if nothing could be grown, leave it like that for the growth of grasses and use it to have the cattle grazing there. So this is what is called a slash and burn culture. At the beginning, it was a little bit different. See here. Can you see here? Can you see this? Prithvi, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See here. These, whatever the trees used to be there, this is also not very good forest, of course. This is forest. They used to get cut like that. Cut the trees, get the trees, several hectares like that, and lift it and burn that and convert this into land and either grow some, make this some farmland or simply leave it. When the grasses grow there, leave the cattle there for grazing. In this way, lot of forest used to get lost. After cultivation, the area they used to live for several years so as to allow its recovery. At beginning, like they used to leave it. Cut one particular area, transform it into the agricultural land. After a few years of raising crops there, leave it. Go to another area, cut the trees here, convert it into the farmland. And not going back here. After a few years, this used to recover. Again, some of the shrubs used to grow like that. Come back again cut it, convert it into agricultural land and grow the crops like that. At the beginning, they used to go for one patch. After that, another patch, come back like that. Then what happened? They never used to come back here. They used to go one more patch and cut there. So they never used to come back to this area. Go to one more area, cut like that. So after cultivation, the area was left for several years so as to allow its recovery. The farmers then move on to other areas and repeat this process. In earlier days, when jum cultivation was in prevalence, it was in more. Enough time gap was given such that the land recovered from the effect of cultivation. The land recovered from the effect of cultivation. So cultivate some crops here. After that, leave that area, allow it to regrow and come back after several years. In that way, they used to do. But later, they never used to come back and see what is happening there, cultivate there for some time. If at all they find that that particular soil has lost all its fertility, go to another area. With increasing population and repeated cultivation, this recovery phase is done away. No one used to allow, no one used to go back for the recovery, wait for the recovery, resulting in deforestation. Understood? And they never, even if they go there, they never used to leave it at all. Continuously put some inorganic fertilizer and cultivate more and more crops like that. So there is no chance of, again, forest to appear. I hope it is clear. Have you understood this? Vishwas? Chinmayi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anusri? Vismita?
Yes, sir.
Amrita? Lohit?
Yes, sir.
Lohit?
Yes, sir.
Shall you go? Right. Chinmayi,
Yes, sir.
what we studied so far? What we were studying so
About
far?
deforestation, sir.
And what is
Deforestation.
That, what is that I said? I
Jum-
said, what is that?
Jum cultivation.
Zoom cultivation. What are the consequences of deforestation? What happens? If you cut the trees, what will happen? One of the major effect is enhanced carbon dioxide concentration. How? How there will be enhanced carbon dioxide concentration? Can you tell me, Janani? how that deforestation results in enhanced carbon dioxide concentration. How the carbon dioxide concentration increases.
Because
Generally.
there is no oxygen.
Pardon?
No release of oxygen and also the trees will be burnt.
No. Who used to release oxygen?
Trees and plants.
Yeah. So, how that enhances carbon dioxide? Because whenever deforestation should take place, there never used to be plants to convert this carbon dioxide into food. Plants are mainly concerned with usage of carbon dioxide and converting it into glucose. And at that time, oxygen used to release. So, since more and more trees used to get cut, the carbon dioxide concentration started increasing in the atmosphere. One of the major effects is enhanced carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere because trees that could hold a lot of carbon in their biomass are lost with the deforestation. Trees not only used to show photosynthesis, they used to have carbon in them, all that are lost. Deforestation also causes a loss of biodiversity due to habitat destruction. So by this, habitat destruction started. Deforestation resulted in a destruction of forest habitat. Habitat and ecosystem almost one and the same. Disturbs hydrologic cycle. That means water retention, water evaporation, like that. Disturbs hydrological cycle, causes of soil erosion, and may lead to desertification in extreme cases. So, more and more the trees we cut, we are adding more and more to desertification. So, now I said, I am living in a place called Uttarahalli. This was a Halli about 50 years back. Lot of fertile lands used to be here. At that time, whenever it used to rain, the soil used to get that water. Whatever it can hold, it used to hold. Some water used to percolate down, and this used to increase the ground level water. And people living in and around used to get water in their wells and all, and they were happily doing this agriculture and all. The moment Uttarali started getting converted into the residential sites, the moment now we see, if at all I see all around, there are huge buildings. Now there is no chance for the rainwater to get in because it has become, that concrete jungle. We are living in not jungle. You are not living in forest. Once upon a time, it was a forest. Now it is a concrete jungle. And that much of area is covered by these all big buildings. Now, where the water can go down? No, it will not go down at all. It will not percolate down because we have the huge buildings there. And that whatever the rain comes, that all the rainwater gets into the drainage and gets settled somewhere, and it is of no use at all. It gets into the sewage and water is taken. And that water will not be of use at all, and we don't get to the groundwater level also getting up. So if at all you look into borewell, to get the water from the deep underground water, they have to bore this earth to thousands of feet together, right? Reforestation is the one where the plants are again grown. Reforestation is the process of restoring a forest that once existed but was removed at some point of time in the past. When during some point of the time it passed, sometime in the past, when the forest was removed, we now started putting or planting some new plants there. Reforestation is a process of restoring a forest that once existed but was removed at some point of time in the past. How the reforestation takes place? Who has to do the reforestation? Reforestation, forming the forest again. Reforestation may occur naturally in a deforested area. So, if you only ask me, sir, what we can do to increase biodiversity and all, I will tell only one thing. Don't do anything. Leave the area to grow on its own. That is a great help that you are doing to the nature. Nature is not expecting you to take some seed and put there, grow some plant and all. If human beings make their mind to keep quiet, not to do any harm. Right from today, our nature will take care on its own. You need not do anything. But we, the human beings, are we the people to keep quiet? Most cruel, ungrateful, useless animal on this earth. However, we can speed it up by planting trees with due consideration to biodiversity that earlier existed in that area. Can you do this? This is in your hand. I don't want you to just keep quiet because there are some other people to cut the trees. Can you at least promise me from today, sir? I will do a little bit, at least one plant I'm going to grow in my life. Would you please promise me? Aisha, Blessy, Kanisa, Janani, Kavita, Rafa, Navya, Charan, Chinmay, Harchavardhan, Siddesh, Sarvottam, Vishwas, Vismita, Nadira, Tanusri, Jayasri, Umasri, Savitri. Would you please promise me? Duty is not there. Duty, are you there? Duty? No. Would you please promise me, Lohit, Lohitashwa, Prithvi, Namrata? Would you please promise me that, sir, we will at least make it a point to grow one particular tree in our lifetime? Wherever it may be. Wherever it may be. Maybe at present in your place, later after getting married, after that another family, wherever you go. Namrata, are you not going to promise me?
I promise, sir.
Okay, I request every one of you. If you don't, you ask me, sir, have you done it? Yes, I have done it. I have that happiness. When I was at Singeri, I made it a point to fence about 40, 60 that area of the college, fenced from my own money, by spending my own money, put the that barbed wire fencing, and grew there 5 to 6 mango trees, and this, what you say, jackfruit trees, coconut trees, sapota trees. At least I have that much satisfaction. They are all now grown there. At least that much satisfaction is there. At least if at all I breathe the air from the nature here, there the plants which I have planted are giving the air to the nature. I want this promise. Pratyay, you did not say anything. You have land. You have a lot of land. At least one tree you take care. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Pratyay, okay. So, case study of people's participation in the conservation of a forest. Look here, beautiful event. People's participation has a long history in India. In 1731, the king of Jodhpur in Rajasthan, asked one of his ministers to arrange wood for the constructing of a new palace. This Jodhpur emperor, king, he wanted a new palace. And he asked one of the ministers, go and get some very good wood for that. The minister and workers went to a forest near a village, inhabited by one of the prominent tribal community living there, Bishnoi. Bishnois was of course, that community is now also. It is a community which included people who have great respect for nature lovers. The ministers and workers went to the forest near a village, which was inhabited by Bishnoi community, to cut down the trees. When the people, these king's people went there, the Bishnoi community protested it. Bishnoi community is known for its peaceful coexistence with the nature. They are always living with the nature, respecting nature, and with a friendly attitude towards nature. The effort to cut down the trees by kings was thwarted by the Bishnoi. Bishnoi community never permitted them. They said, no, you can't cut the trees here. A Bishnoi woman by Amrita Devi, look here, very important lady, Amrita Devi, came forward, showed exemplary courage by hugging a tree. She embraced the tree, hugged the tree, and she said, She dared the kingsman, if you want to cut the tree, first you cut me, then you cut the tree. She challenged, but unfortunately, what is kingsman? She dared the kingsman to cut her first before cutting the tree. But these merciless people, this is what Vista community have, these merciless people, for them, tree mattered much more. And for her, tree mattered much more than her life. And for the kingsmen, they wanted tree. Sadly, the kingsmen did not heed to her pleas and cut down the tree by killing Amrita Devi. They killed Amrita Devi. Amrita Devi sacrificed her life. Not only that, when her daughters were seeing this, all the daughters, or 3 daughters she had, all the 3 daughters came and hugged the tree. And hundreds of other Vista community also came and hugged the tree. And these cruel people of this king killed all of them. Nowhere in history you do find such a commitment of this magnitude when human beings sacrifice their lives for the cause of the environment. No. Look here. How much love they had for the nature, and how much love our politicians have about the nature, for the nature. Imagine. Right? After this event, the government of India has recently instituted the Amrita Devi Bishnoi Wildlife Protection Award. Now, the government is giving a special award in the name of Amrita Devi for individuals or communities from rural area who show extraordinary courage and dedication in protecting wildlife. I hope you might have heard about a lady in Karnataka who has become the root cause for growing hundreds of trees. Who is that?
Salumara Timmaka.
Timmaka. Why that Salumara Timmaka we have to say? Why not Salumara Aisha, Salumara Blessy, Salumara Kanisa, Salumara Vismita, Salumara Siddesh, Salumara Vishwas? Is it that you have to tell only Salumara Timmaka? Let there be hundreds of Salumara Timmaka and Timmanna. Am I right? Am I right, Blessy? Is it not that my expectation, my wish is correct?
Yes, sir.
Shall we have it? Blessy, would you please bless your children? Yes, God, please give this mentality to my children. Okay? So that is the need of the day. Right? Understood? So, this is what the award that is given by the governor to one of the lady who has done some work for the conservation of wildlife. Okay? Right? Now, you may have heard of a Chipoko movement. Have you heard about that? Chipoko movement of Garhwal Himalayas. Who was involved in that Chipoko movement? Who was involved? Anyone knows the name? Yes? Yes? Yes?
Sundarlal Bahugana.
Vismita Sundarlal Bhogana. He was involved in Chipko movement at Garhwal Himalayas. In 1974, local women showed enormous bravery in protecting trees from the acts of contractors by hugging them. Right? People all over the world have acclaimed the Chipko movement. Okay? So, hereafter, we need not wait for someone's name. We should be exemplary for that. What do you say, Vismita? What do you say, Nadira? What do you say, Tanusri, Jayasri, Savitri? Yes? So my request is that at least you have it in mind. At least I will be root cause for at least one tree in my life. You can have 2. One back at your home now, one another after going to another home. If nothing can be done, you just make it a point to grow some of these plants in the pot nearby, if at all you are in a rented house, or if at all some space in the terrace, have some trees. Grow there. At least that much of oxygen gets released by the plant to the nature. Am I right, Aisha? Am I right, Lohit? right? So, realizing the significance of participation by local communities, the government of India in 1980s has introduced the concept called joint forest management. Joint forest management, JFM. I helped the government of Karnataka in preparing the joint forest management draft for two of the villages when I was doing some research work in the Kigga village. Joint forest management so as to work closely with the local communities for protecting and managing forests. What do you mean by this joint forest management? You know, in order to earlier, it was like that. People used to go to forest. Those who used to stay nearby forest in the villages, they used to go to the forest and cut whatever, bring whatever they wanted from the forest. Later, forest department started implementing certain rules and regulations that villages they cannot enter into the forest, especially wildlife forest that you have heard about these national parks, wildlife sanctuaries like that. Kudimak National Park you have heard, and I was referring to that village near to Kudimak National Park only. So later, the government started implementing certain rules and regulations that villages that much easily cannot come to the forest. They cannot pick up the products from the forest. And there used to be always a tussle between the forest department and villagers. Villagers used to go and fetch produce from the forest, and forest department used to put a fine on them, put a case on them like that. And later, in order to see that it is not at all, in order to see that there is no meaning in that, the government of India has insisted what is known as joint forest management. In this joint forest management, there is to be members from both the government side and from the village side, farmers, villages. And these two used to have a committee. They used to come to conclusion, yes, these forest products can be sold, can be bought by the villagers at this rate, and whatever the profit is obtained, 50% used to go to government, 50% used to use it for the welfare of the village. Like that, they started joint forest management. In the joint forest management, there used to be participation of the villagers and along with the officials of the forest. So this started working very well. In return for their services to the forest, the communities, village communities, get the benefit of various forest products like fruits, gum, rubber, medicine, etc. Some used to participate in auction. Yes, I want this fruit at this rate, I will take. And he used to take and he used to sell. And that much in auction, whatever they used to bid, and that amount used to be spent for the purpose of villages. So fruits, gum, rubber, medicine, etc. And thus the forest can be conserved in a sustainable manner. Sustainable manner means whatever you want to use, you must use. But you also have to leave it for tomorrow. Not that completely cutting the trees and making the forest of no use or converting it into a desert land. So this is what I wanted to cover. And with this, our this particular chapter got over. I hope you know this. You just have some idea about that. You must know that there's another what is known as Kyoto Protocol. Just to note down, Kyoto Protocol. It is concerned with the climate change. That this protocol or this gathering, it commits that state parties to reduce greenhouse gas emission. You just remember this. The protocol that is concerned with the greenhouse gas emission, to reduce the greenhouse gas emission, yes, it is called Kyoto Protocol. Just you must know, because sometimes you'll be given just to match this one with that. So Kyoto Protocol is concerned with the reduction in the greenhouse gas emission. What a greenhouse gas emission? That is what a climate change, right? So I think that is sufficient. These are all, Montreal Protocol. It is concerned with the ozone depletion. Montreal Protocol. You have already heard about that. And I already have told about the Earth Summit. Okay. So this is what we have to. And with this, we have completed this chapter. And I am going to discuss this biodiversity MCQs. And this also I have put it in the Google Classroom. Please go to that, and whenever we meet, we are going to discuss these questions. Okay, right? With this, you have completed this course, and as I told you, you'll be getting this complete recorded lecture of my first year and second year. Please make it a point to listen first year lecture also whenever it's possible, and I shall see that your other chapter subjects, other subject chapters are getting at the earliest. So, do you have anything to ask me?